Going to do a quick video about upgrading the NAS, the WD EX2 Ultra that I've had for almost like 5+ years. I bought it with two 2 TB drives, and that's what I currently have, and I've run out of the 2 TB drives. I've been using this in the JBOD configuration. This is the Xiaomi electric screwdriver that I have. It's pretty handy. I only wish that the screw heads were really magnetic and not just like they're not as strong of a magnet. I don't even think they really have a magnet in them, so that would be pretty cool. But so I have two 2 TB drives. It was in JBOD configuration, which essentially means that each drive is by itself. I haven't opened this thing since I first set it up, so it took me a little bit of trial and error to figure out what it is that I was doing. Right now I'm trying to take out drive 2, and it is a challenge, so I'm going to switch over and see if I can do drive 1 instead, and if it is easy or am I missing something. So let's go ahead, see if we can do drive 1. See, that was pretty quick and easy. So we have that out. We're going to try and do drive 2. The NAS is the design seems unique because that yanking and pulling thing and 2 screws on each side. I didn't even remember that this was a design concept that was in the drive. But once you set it up, it just stays there, and I don't have to do anything about it. It just works. So I'm not complaining too much about it if I have to do this once in like 5 or 6 years when I have to replace the drives or upgrade the drives. So while I'm doing this, so as I said, I've been doing this in JBOD configuration. For the new upgrade that I'm doing, I've got two 20 TB Red Pro drives, and I'm going to actually set them in RAID 1 configuration, which means that one drive is going to be my primary drive and the other one is essentially going to just be mirroring this drive. My plan for the 20 TB is to have a lot of my system backups and some files that I might need quick access to. This NAS is actually my second NAS. My primary NAS is my old computer, which is running TrueNAS scale, and it's got a similar configuration. It's got one 20 TB drive and another 20 TB drive mirroring it. So these were cases that I bought from Amazon to store these drives. I didn't upgrade and change my NAS till I got these. I got them in a little colorful setup, and I'm just going to plop over my drives into this and keep them aside, and I'll just have these 2 TBs for me if I ever need. And I'm now going to try and put the two 20 TB drives. This I think should be easy, but I don't know. Let's see. Trying to figure out what the orientation of these drives is going to be, and then I'll hook up the screws and we'll put the drives in. So as I was saying, while I'm trying to figure all of that out, so this is my secondary NAS. My primary NAS is now a home server, which is my previous computer, and I've got two 20 TB drives similar to this setup. One's a primary drive. It's got all my Plex data, my old photos, some historical songs that I downloaded, a lot of my old data from several years ago. It's on that 20 TB drive, and I have a second 20 TB drive that is mirroring that entire thing. I've got a 1 TB drive for apps, the TrueNAS scale apps like my Nginx, my Plex, all the 10-15 Kubernetes containers that I'm running on my home server. They're all on that 1 TB drive. The beauty about the TrueNAS scale is if I have more drives, I can just keep adding, keep expanding, and that's my plan. Right now it's in a small compact HP PC case. I'm going to change that case at some point so that I can expand the number of drives I can insert. So I also have an expansion slot for these drive cables, the SATA cables. So my long-term plan is eventually to keep just adding 20 TB drives to my TrueScale NAS. The problem with TrueScale is it is Unix, and it is not intuitive at all. I have barely figured out how to set up my backups, how to set up the home server. I have not tried to restore anything from the home server, and I'm sure once I try to do that, that's going to be a whole different exercise. So let's see how that will go. I'm learning TrueNAS as it goes, so it's not the best idea to have critical backups running on a system that I'm still learning. So therefore, I've got this WD NAS, my system backups, and some important photographs will be here. I also have a Western Digital 6 TB USB 3 external hard drive, which is also my backup for some of my important family photos. My plan is not to lose those photos. So yeah, so got a very interesting mix of devices that make up my home setup, and we'll talk about it later. I might actually end up doing a full video of what my home server setup looks like with Raspberry Pi, for my home assistant, my TrueNAS scale, and this, and some of my other drives. This was a struggle to get in. My second drive, I think there is something wrong with the case itself. It was a struggle to get the second drive in, and that was not a good experience. The Xiaomi screwdriver kind of being super useful. I'm glad that I didn't break the case, but I am worried that when I actually have to take out the second 20 TB drive, it is going to be a struggle, and I don't know how that is going to go. But I don't have to worry about it for at least a couple of years, so it's fine. And by then maybe I will get rid of this NAS and get a different one. I don't know that either. The struggle is I can't get rid of this because all the data is encrypted or can only be read, not encrypted. Encrypted is a strong word. All the data can only be read by WD NAS itself. I have set up SMB, but these drives, if let's say my enclosure fails, I can't use these drives because these drives can only be read within the WD OS, so to say. I went through once I got the drives ready, I went to the website, selected RAID 1, clicked through the setup menu. That was very easy. I'm fairly familiar with this web menu because I went through all of this when I initially set this up, and I spent enough time in here to understand what I have to do. So all I have to do is just go into storage, pick RAID, select the drive, and then WD just did most of the stuff. It took a while. I want to say about like 40-45 minutes to get all of this done. So we're just going to fast forward through all of those settings. My shares will be here. So I will, since this is a new drive, I have to set up a new share. My previous 2 TB, I set up several shares, and I'm realizing that that's just not how I use the NAS. I just need like one folder. So you can see it's a RAID 1, everything's fine. I'm going to create a share. Do this. I'm always worried about caps, so that's it. I think once I do this, the permissions are already set. I'm going to try and delete public, but I don't think I can do that. I also think after the Western Digital hack, cloud access has to be reset, and there it is, my WD NAS. I can copy paste SMB accesses.